Ed Reed is on the phone line right now. How are you, Ed?
What's up, Rich?
I miss talking to you, Ed. Other than that, not much.
Hey, man, it's been a while, huh?
Well, it's been a while since last time we spoke. You said you wouldn't mind taking a phone call from the 305 to be the coach of the University of Miami. And now here you are, a member of an actual NFL coaching staff, Ed. Look at you.
Yeah, man. Rex must have heard that interview.
I'm sure Rex is a regular consumer of the Rich Eisen show in one way, shape, or form.
I can see that.
Oh, don't you think? So, but where did this come about? How did it all come about, Ed, where you wound up coaching with Rex?
Honestly, Rich, it started, years ago. When Rex was in Baltimore, I'd say about the second to third year, he and Ray and I, we used to have meetings going over the game plan about things, and before meetings, Rex used to always stop me and Ray and have some talks before meetings started about what we saw, leading up to going over the game plan on Wednesdays. And that just kind of led to having Wednesday meetings in the morning, and that continued over the years, even when Rex left. And then when I got to New York, just kind of observing the fact that, the DBs was kind of, it was kind of lackadaisical on studying and stuff like that. So I kind of just took it upon myself to invite those guys to stay after and just kind of watch some tape and go over tape. And you could see, when I was in New York, at the Jets, that they kind of improved a little bit, So, I think Rex held on to that. I used to sit down with him even in New York, and that's where that kind of came about, outside of calling me when I was cooking.
See, so you're cooking a meal, and Rex calls you up, essentially, and says, do you want to be a coach? That's what happened?
Yeah, he pretty much called and asked me what I was doing, what I feel like coaching. Do I feel like coaching? And it kind of went from there.
Did you speak to Rod Woodson about this at all? Because he has the same role in Oakland for Jack Del Rio's staff.
I talked to Rod before, years ago when we kind of got into it when he was doing it, but not since then. I've been talking to Chuck Pagano sometime, over the years about it, and I talked to him right after I talked to Rex, and he explained some stuff to me, and I can always call him. I've been talking to Coach Shannon, who's down in Florida, and helping him out with some guys down there, talking to some of his players, and he kind of encouraged me. He's like, man, maybe you should go into coaching. So, it's been interesting over the years just talking to a bunch of different coaches. Just different, being into it. I know it's going to be different, actually being there and going over a lot of other things that, I haven't seen before.
Ed Reed, Super Bowl champion, future Hall of Famer, now currently a coach in the National Football League, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So where do you want to take this? I mean, how far up the coaching ladder do you envision yourself wanting to take this, Ed?
I don't know, Rich. It's going to be interesting to see, man. I've been a player, and you hear so many words about, guys don't last, Hall of Famer guys don't be good coaches and all that good stuff, man. I'm just going to have fun with it and enjoy it. I'm going to take this learning experience, one year at a time, one day at a time, and see where I want to go for it after this. Maybe you ask me that question next year. I can have a better answer for you. Right now I'm just learning, and see where it goes from there because it's all about time. I have a young son, who wasn't too happy about it at first. It wasn't so much as that as Buffalo. It's just the fact that I'll be gone, and that's more important to me than anything, is spending that time with him. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. I got to weigh that out as well as, just the whole, being in Buffalo, being away from him, and coaching at the same time. It's going to be interesting to see, so see how that works out the second year, and we can revisit that question. I've talked about being a GM, being a head coach before, not so much as a coordinator as it was of being a head coach because, I've been having my camp for 14 years and kind of, working hand in hand with the head coach there, and being in Baltimore and learning so much from Coach Billick and learning so much from Coach Harbaugh and just watching them, I thought that was more my way, versus being around. I've been around a bunch of D coordinators before, so it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see. Let's revisit that in about a year and a half, 2 years.
We'll do that. And in the meantime, just if you want to practice up your answer to that question for other people, you could say you're just gunning for Belichick twice a year. You miss doing that,
Well, I mean, I just don't look at me different when I'm dressed. We're dressed the same, And I got the sweater on that he wears. I look up to Belichick. He's one of the coaches, obviously, that you look at and see, how he's coaching. I've read Coach book, before, and just, how his background, military and all that, and how he disciplines, he treats everybody the same, but nobody's bigger than the team, and that's what it's about.
Ed Reed joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so before you go full coach on me, I want to still get a little bit of that, still part of the paparazzi, Ed Reed, here to talk about.
Yeah, because assistant coaches don't do interviews.
I know that, Ed, and that's why I wanted to get in touch with you before you went into that coaching rabbit hole right there, where you just say, I'm just taking it one game at a time. You almost went there right there. Come back, talk to me, a year from half from now, I'm just going to take it one game. You almost went coach speak on me right there, Ed, which means you're ready for it. You're ready for the gig. But I want full paparazzi on you right here, because we saw on your Twitter feed last week, you said the way to beat Tom Brady is pray a lot. And I guess Denver must have.
Didn't they win by a prayer, man? Because if he scored the Gronk in the corner of the end zone, they got to tie again. We're still watching the AFC Championship.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. What did you think of that game, Ed, when it all comes down to it?
Hey, man, defense wins championships. You forget how bad New England offensive line was throughout the season leading up to that game. And Denver definitely exposed that. They brought that back to light. With those guys played lights out. Those guys wanted to win. And just the patience of Peyton understanding, as we did when we won the Super Bowl, that you don't turn the ball over, you give yourself a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. There was no secret. Denver didn't turn the ball over. They played great defense, for the most part. And they deserved to win. They got the win. They won by a prayer.
Which quarterback is more difficult to deceive, Brady or Peyton Manning, Ed?
Those guys both, honestly. Both of those guys. I think Brady has a little bit more of an edge, just because the quality of talent that he's had over there blocking for him when I played against these guys. But Peyton was hard as well. I think I got Peyton probably more than I got Brady, so that's why, I choose that. But both of those guys are very intelligent, very hard to disguise against and pick off. He's going to take the play clock all the way down, to zero, to make sure they get every little movement out you to see what you're in.
Ed Reed joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hey, Ed, I'm going to take a minute break. And when I come back, I want to ask you, again, some more questions that you definitely won't be answering next year as a coach. You're still a member of the paparazzi as far as I'm concerned right here, right now. Okay, Ed?
You got it, Rick.
We're gonna spit truth with Ed Reed when we come back in 66 of the clock, including the E word. I'm going to use the E word, guys. I know we ban it here in the Chris Command Center and on the Rich Eisen Show. But the elite word is about to be busted out.
Uh-oh.
The over-under on it, if the elite word is set at 1/2 a time, take the over. That's next here on the Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. He is the assistant to the assistant defensive backs coach for the Buffalo Bills. He is Ed Reed. So, Ed, still here on the Rich Eisen Show. Does that mean when you're a coach, you're going to shut down at 20 ER? Or are you going to still tweet every now and then?
That's interesting. I said I wasn't going to do it. So I said I was going to shut it down once the year started.
Okay.
Just because I know how I might get.
Uh-huh.
So I might shut it down, Rich. I
Okay.
might be able to handle it, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to shut it down.
Okay. So then before you shut it down, let me get a few more of these in. As you know, Brady and Manning went at it for a 17th time in the AFC
Yeah.
Championship game. So ever since Brady's come into the National Football League, either Brady, Manning, or Big Ben has represented the AFC in the Super Bowl with the exception of
Only
1 year.
Flacco.
1 year, right, Ed? Joe Flacco. And many people will still
fact.
wonder if Flacco deserves to be mentioned in this group of elite quarterbacks. What do you think, Ed?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's so hard, obviously, it's so hard to get into that group. When I saw that, I was disappointed in the NFL in general, in the AFC. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Probably the NFL because Brady's been there the whole time. If you add the NFC to it, I'm thinking it's only Aaron Rodgers and Eli who's been in it on that side. Now Cam Newton in the last maybe, man, with so many years in Kaepernick, so it's crazy on how this is a professional league and we're always getting the same couple teams in there. I mean, that's a test to great coaching and bad coaching going on. So, I know Rex's job, Rex's his mentality is to get there. And, when he called me, that's all I was thinking about. So, we're trying to get Tyrod in there because it's time. It's time for some new guys to start competing for these championships and really making the NFL worthwhile,
So how does Denver stop Cam? How do you think Wade Phillips is going to spend the next week and a half game planning for Cam, Ed?
I don't see them changing much outside of, their blitzing, and maybe sitting in some zones. But, the difference between Cam and Brady is Cam will take off with it, So I'm thinking they're going to put some pressure on him, and jumping maybe, some of them zones that they did, the year before, the week before last, but they're not going to switch. Wade is not going to switch, what he does. He's going to do what he do and let those guys run around and let their talent show, and go from there, It's going to be a tough task. It's going to be interesting to see how many people he put on Greg Olsen this week.
So when it all comes down to it, who do you think is going to win, Carolina or Denver, Super Bowl 50?
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. You're the first one I've asked this question to.
Defense win championships, man. We got two great defenses in this game, and I am Luke's father. So I'm going with Luke and the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton and those guys, man.
So you went Star Wars on me when it all comes down to it, Ed. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So does it mean you're a Jedi Knight, Ed? That the Rex Ryan has hired a Jedi Knight when it comes down to it?
I'm Yoda's son.
Hey, we had in studio this week on game day morning as a guest
Reggie.
analyst. You saw Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, Reggie.
Yeah.
Reggie Wayne.
Reggie. Yeah. And we had.
I called him yesterday. He was getting on the plane leaving from down there, so I didn't get to talk to him about it, man. He looked like he enjoyed it, had fun.
He did.
I encouraged him the week before, the first week when he came on, just to relax and gave him a couple pointers, stuff he already know. Reggie had a radio show in Indy, his whole career, so
Yeah.
he pretty much knew how to work it, man. It was funny to see you guys asking what Omaha means. Y'all could ask me that.
He gave it up. He coughed it up.
Yeah,
Ed.
he did.
He coughed it up.
He did, but he told you the absolute truth. Omaha would not mean the same thing. It will not mean the same thing. Peyton is very conscious of those things, man, and use those things, whether it's signals, same for Brady. Those guys always give you something and change it because they know who they're going against. When they know they're going against somebody who studied film, a whole lot, they're going to change those things and make you think it means the same thing, and it doesn't.
And in terms of, again, circling back to the coaching staff of the Buffalo Bills. I'm on with Ed Reed. Right around when you were added to the staff, Catherine Smith was added to the staff as well, the first full-time female assistant in the National Football League. She's going to be quality control for special teams. I assume you knew her from the Jet days, correct? Since she's been around with Rex for 7 years.
I couldn't remember it.
Okay.
I honestly couldn't remember it when I was when I saw that. I was like, where did I see her?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't put my finger on it just yet. I'm sure she would probably help me remember it, but I just couldn't remember it at the time. But that's awesome, man. I mean, that's showing in the world that we're breaking ground, you know, and giving everybody a fair shot, you know, and that's what it's supposed to be about. You know, I can't say that's how it is in society, but, you know, I mean, in the NFL, we've broken so many barriers, you know, and people tend to use NFL as a platform as examples, you know, when it's the bad stuff. You know, when it's the bad stuff, we use the NFL as an example, you know, to change things, you know, but when it's something good like this, you know, it gets even more high praise. Sometimes it don't, you know. So, I mean, it's awesome, man. I think it's awesome that we have Catherine Smith, you know, as the first coach, and Rex is doing it, you know, and I'm sure it's going to be plenty more because you have so many people that pays attention to sports, you know, not just us fellas. You know, you got a lot of women that watch it, you know, so it's an awesome deal that is happening, and it's the NFL that's doing it and showing that, you know, we are, you know, set apart, you know, from a lot of other sports.
Well, Ed, I appreciate you coming on. The Bills visit the L.A. Rams coming up this fall, so when you're here in L.A., I'd love to see you.
We're coming over there.
And one little tip for you, if I may, okay? Because I always look out for you, Ed. You know, I've known you for years. We go back to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
When this show is a podcast, we put you on the red carpet of the Oscars as our correspondent, for crying out loud, okay? We go way back, Ed.
Yeah, man. And
okay?
the Oscars got all that going on right now.
So here's my tip for you, Ed, as a coach in the National Football League. The Bills visit Cincinnati. If Vontaze Burfict blows up Sammy Watkins, do not go on the field to go check him out as a defensive assistant. Okay, Ed?
Nah, I don't.
Okay.
You know, I know better.
Okay.
I know better. Only head coaches, you know, do certain things. You know, like I said, only head coaches do interviews. So
don't pull a Joey.
Don't interview, Rich.
Don't go full Joey. Don't go full Joey on me. Okay? You can't do that.
Pittsburgh knew what they were doing.
Ed, congrats on your new career change and choice, and I appreciate you calling in.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rich. Tell the fellas hello, man. I know they're sitting right there.
They are that. That's Ed Reed at 20ER, as he currently is still on Twitter.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.